We are so detached from our emotions and so actively feeding a culture that places happiness as the only acceptable feeling that the anxiety caused by not finding meanings or lessons in the bad situations that are normal, by the way, is worse than the bad feeling itself. Hi, I'm Paula, the girl that sits here every Tuesday to just talk about things that happen to all of us but that we don't talk about enough. And today I wanted to talk about sadness and that need we seem to have to just find something that makes all the pain and all the suffering make sense. It's weird how, despite culture being something merely human, we have built one in which it's just okay to be human under certain circumstances. So you can be sad, you can be mad, you can be fat, you can be black, you can be gay. You just can't exist if you don't fit in the mold of what a human life experience should look like. And there are just so many categories of things we are not allowed to be that addressing them all in just one video will just be too much. So today I want to focus only on feelings and why it's okay to be sad and why not everything happens for a reason. And no, not everything happens for a reason, and you are not suffering because you need to learn a lesson as if it was your fault to be suffering or as if you deserved it. As humans, there are three things we seem not to be able to tolerate: the bad, the unfair, and the unknown. The idea of bad and unfair things happening is just unbearable. Like, you get mad because they were not supposed to happen. And not only they happened, but they happened to you. Because bad things can happen to other people and that's sad. But when they happen to you, it's just infuriating because why did it have to be you? So it makes sense that we have built a system of beliefs to put some sense into those bad situations, just so they don't feel as devastating as they do, kind of like a coping mechanism. And that system of beliefs is the well-known everything happens for a reason, or if it happened, it's because there's a lesson you need to learn. And I get why those words can be so comforting. After all, they provide an explanation to why bad things happen to you. And if you're okay with that, if it works for you, that's perfect. But there are times in which those words can be so deeply hurtful, because if everything happens for a reason, then that means that you were meant to go through all of those bad things. And there are situations in life that are just so evil and cruel that I truly believe that nobody was meant to go through that in the first place. So if this is your case, let me tell you that it's not your fault if bad things have happened to you. You didn't deserve that. And you don't need to keep suffering until you find some type of meaning that explains why, out of everybody else, it happened to you. You are not obliged to find meaning to deserve healing, and you don't need to keep searching inside your wounds for hidden lessons. Sometimes all we need to know is that bad things can happen to good people. Sometimes things don't have to make sense for us to try and heal and move on, because sometimes things just happen and that's it. I know that it's hard to hear someone say that all the pain you may be going through is for nothing, and that's why I'm telling you that if finding a hidden meaning provides comfort for you, then go ahead. But remember that the key of healing is in letting go, and the more that you hold on to something, your pain in this case, as you keep looking for a hidden meaning, the harder it is going to be to heal. Imagine your pain as a real physical baggage, and you're holding on to it with a rope. The more that you hold on to that rope, the more damage and pain it is going to be causing to your hands and your arms, and overall you will just be exhausted. Sometimes the best thing you can do in order to stop carrying that emotional baggage is to just let it go. I know it's hard, especially if your pain has become something so familiar, it has evolved into some type of safe space, because letting go is definitely not as easy as it sounds, but sometimes just knowing that you are not obliged to hold on to that pain, it helps a lot. Know that not everybody is sad for a particular reason, and if this is your case, the whole idea of letting go might sound a little bit confusing because there's nothing in particular that you are holding on to. But what if you let go of the idea that there is some type of hidden meaning in your sadness? I know that at first it sounds really bad, like you are stuck with your pain forever for no reason, but if you delve into it long enough, you may find it actually quite liberating, because now there are no expectations on you to find reasons. You are already stuck with your pain, but now you know that you don't have to be actively thinking about your pain and thinking that you are experiencing your pain wrong because you still can't figure what you can take out of it. So yes, you're still in pain, but at least now you can let go of these expectations that even when in pain, there still needs to be something you have to be doing or something you have to be learning. And who knows, maybe once you stop focusing on one particular thing, you can start noticing things you didn't even know existed. And of course, this doesn't mean that you're going to be sad forever. Being sad forever is as unlikely as being happy forever. At some point, our emotions need to change because that's how human experience is. And this also doesn't mean that you are not going to be learning any lesson. Of course you are, but let the lessons come naturally. You don't have to be actively looking for them and punishing yourself because you can't find them. At some point, the lessons will find you. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I send you a massive hug. Remember that you are not alone, and see you next week.